Alright, so hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And so today something happened in the UK. So Queen Elizabeth has died today, and this was very important obviously. But today we are not going to be talking much about that. Maybe I'll make another video on it, but I'll cover a lot of it still, but I'll cover more about the royal family. Let's think about the royal family. What did it do at the beginning and what does it do today? The functions of the royal family has been constantly cut down, slowly and slowly. Well, as Normandy, William the Bastard arrived in England. In case you didn't know who he is, he's the person who made French culture kind of go into England, and that made the English more like French. However, this made a hybrid language, which is the current modern day English we speak today. Previously, we would just say, I am eating cow. Now we say, I am eating beef. So the royal family really begins here, when the first sets of kings and queens were beginning to form, I guess, or were becoming like a staple in the culture, as well as like kings and leaders. So what we have to think about here is this can we figure out a direct descent of this? Like we can see this these kings, these sets of kings, the first kings, and they just go down directly through male progression, male line. And it's something else like that. Male line progression basically just means your heir can be male to pass it down. However, the UK had a different rule on it. Whatever, we'll just say the direct line. Can we just go down there? Answer is no, we can't. The real problem is we have to look at the structure of the monarchy at the time. So let's think about this. The structure of the monarchy is, there's a house which contains a bunch of people who have different roles, like princes, and they have different things. Like, for example, a king, when he dies, a prince will take over. Or if a king dies, his daughter or princess will take over, and you can kind of understand what's happening. So the main thing I have to say here is that how did Queen Elizabeth these kings get from here to Queen Elizabeth? Let's explain. Well, let's go down and go down and go down. Oh wait, what happened? Suddenly male line progression just doesn't work, because one queen took over. However, her husband is now going to take the part, and since royals have high chance to be married with other royals at the time, right? So for example, there was one person here, and he was a daughter, like a female. So her husband, or another royal from another house, would actually take over the royal house, because that's what's probably going to happen, because his descent will not be the house of the queen. His descent will be instead the house of the husband or whoever was there. So that's the thing. Technically now, it's kind of weird. Basically, if it works like that, then King Charles should actually be on a different house. That means that the Queen's house, the Saxe Coburg Gotha, just got replaced by another house at this time, exactly this time, not this time when you're watching this video, not that time, but when I'm recording this video. So that time, this just got replaced. So that's just how that works, and this makes the end to Saxe Coburg Gotha. That royal house, it's no longer going to be it's no longer going to have any other way to come back, unless another person from there, who there is none, I think, goes there. But whatever. Let's think about the queen's father and mother. They were the Albert the first or third. I forgot. First, I think. I don't remember. I think it might have been the third. Okay, it's one Albert, one of those. It's really hard to keep the names of monarchs. Okay, and then Victoria, Queen Victoria. We all know who she was, and so that's how Saxe Coburg Gotha actually began. Because this actually happened one generation earlier. Because when Queen Victoria was going to die, Queen Elizabeth would take over, and so she will inherit actually King or Albert's, right? Albert the first house. So this happened one earlier, and now it's happening again. It's weird how quickly it can happen, but if it is actually every time a queen comes, there is a high chance, and queens are really starting to come. But now we have a few questions. What's going to happen with the national anthem? There's a lot of questions which I'm going to have to answer and let you answer. So number one question I've thought of is, what will happen to the national anthem? This is a very, very complicated question because national anthems don't change like anywhere in the world. However, will God Save the Queen actually work for King Charles III? That's not gonna work. So, will God Save the King be the new national anthem unofficially? Or will it be official? Like, will that national anthem go to all of the Commonwealth countries? Or the UK by itself? Or will it just stay as like a national anthem, God Save the King? Right, so that will happen. Number two question is, who will be the heir of King Charles? Like, who will go down if he decides to do something or whatever? He can go out of his royal position or any other thing. What would happen? Who would be next on the line? But its number one thing is King or Prince William. So I'm referring all of them as kings. Yeah, and then it gets complicated. By the time that happens, I think King Williams or Prince Williams will already be very old, and so his son would be very good enough, so he'll inherit it. It's kind of a tricky question because when you think about it, every single time a daughter falls in the line, we have to have a house recession, right? I just learned that word of recession, so I don't know what that means. Can you comment below what is recession? I don't know. It's an economic term, I think. However, I don't know that actually. Whatever, and house will be changed. For some reason, I thought of recession exactly when that happened. It's somewhat connected. Okay, whatever. So let's move on. Next question will be wait, how exactly will this affect the Commonwealth countries? What will happen to these? Because the UK has a really a rush of various people around Buckingham Palace. But what will happen to Australia? There's midnight right now. What will happen to Canada? Canada, this is I think a dusk time by then. Dusk. I don't forget what the beginning was. Oh, whatever. It's very early right now in Canada. So it's very early in Canada. So how will they affect this country? And this is where I can't delete this. There are two questions today. So these two questions you must comment down below. Also, if you are on this part of the video, comment king. That's going to be great. I didn't plan that. Whatever. Okay. So tell me what is like the who will come, like what will happen in these Commonwealth countries next tomorrow, especially for Australia. And number two, what will happen to, I forgot that question actually. What will happen to the national anthem? These are the two questions I want you to answer. So this is the monarchy's natural process. It goes down, so we can't do it much about it. So later on, it will keep going down, and we can't do anything about it, obviously. So here is the quick thing. When did monarchy start to lose power? Well, let's go back in the history, because I just took a break from the history today, right there. But when? Let's exactly think about it. When will the kings and queens start to lose power slowly? Well, it was that time around maybe like 1200 to 1400, the early pre-1500s, I will say, because it's crazy to think like it's 500 years. That's not that big. I had to rethink my so whatever. Like I was saying, it happened to the 1200s to 1400s. No exact date. I am not sure. It's like 1300s. It's approximately at that time. The parliament started to take power. Now, the quick history: parliament actually began as just a few lords, and they were thinking, we also need a bunch of power, and we also need a free ride. And so the queen gave them that, or the king gave them that. And then what they decided to do is the House of Commons were formed, because a bunch of common people decided that, wait, why are the lords only getting this? Why can't no other people just get it? And that's how the parliament was formed. After the parliament was formed, well, the power started to go away from the monarchy. And at 1800s to 1900s, a lot of power started to go. And eventually 1900s, I don't still know the whole thing. Yeah. Well, we can officially say the 20th century or the 1900s, the queens and kings lost their power and they just became constitutional. Well, they did still have some power, but it wasn't necessarily the whole power. Like for example, queens and kings can still say, like for example, imported law is being passed by a president. They can still say no, and they can outright say no, and this will work actually. So they do have some power left, but that power is not used. So yeah, that's the thing. Now I have another thing to talk about. This is completely unrelated to the UK. However, which do you think is the strongest kingdom, which like the king who has the most power? So I'll give you 5 seconds. The strongest king on the kingdom. Like you have to guess the kingdom which has it's a constitutional monarchy still, not like the Saudi Arabia. Don't guess that. However, the king has to have some power. The monarchs have to have some power. So I'll let you guess here, and I'll let you have 5 seconds. Comment down below and pause the video. 1. So yeah, the answer is Thailand, and I want to make another video on how Thailand's kings are kind of a little bit have more power. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Maybe I'll cover a little bit more about her life later on another video. But today I just was covering some history and how hereditary makes things work. So